talking with Dr. L. Randall Wray, professor of economics at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, senior scholar at the Levy Economics Institute, author of Modern Money Theory, the book, blogging at neweconomicperspectives, plural.org. And his last name is spelled W-R-A-Y, for those of you furiously Googling. And Dr. Wray, I mentioned 1971, and I was talking, of course, of Nixon taking us off the gold standard, but you said that was when we really, unions started to collapse. I think the peak of that, hyper-aggressive effort to destroy the unions was probably 81 when Reagan went after Patco and declared war on organized labor, and for the first time in the history of the U.S. Department of Labor, put a person in charge of the Department of Labor who was hostile to labor. Why is the destruction of unions in the United States more important than our having gone off the gold standard?
Well, I think going off the gold standard was a good thing. Attacking labor unions has not been. Labor unions played a really important role in raising living standards, also raising the productivity of workers, because if you raise wages, firms actually have an incentive to try to increase productivity. So the rising living standards in the post-war period, up through 1974 actually, had a lot to do with the stronger power of labor, which really required the union movement, so that in negotiations they at least had some power. Otherwise capitalism really, it's pretty much an unfair game, because the worker has to work to survive, and the employer has the option of shutting down business for a while.
Right. So how do you respond to those who suggest that unions are producing artificial scarcity by locking out non-union workers? At least this would be pre-Taft-Hartley, or in the not right to work for less states. And that one of the things actually that destroyed unions was that they couldn't maintain that scarcity anymore, that there was a scarcity of labor after World War II because we needed all that productive capacity. But then not only did we no longer need it so much, but also women started coming into the workforce in a big way with the women's lib movement and whatnot, and in the 70s and late 60s through the 80s. And that diluted the labor force enough that unions couldn't hold on to that power. Does that theory make any sense? I've had several conservatives promoted on this program, and I don't have a good rebuttal for it.
Well, there is a bit of a dog and bone story here. If you have 10 dogs and you bury 9 bones and you send them out, you know one dog's going to come back empty-mouthed. And it doesn't matter how much training you give them, how much motivation, give all the speeches you want, tell the dog to do a better job. If he comes back the next time with the bone, it just means another dog doesn't have one. So you pit the dogs against each other. And because after 1974, we grew much more slowly than we had before that period, there were fewer jobs out there, fewer bones. And so you could pit union worker against union worker, but more importantly, union worker against non-union worker, and then you get the much more general support for so-called right-to-work laws, because it seems like it is the union's fault that you can't get a job, when in reality it is because we're not creating enough jobs.
Right, the nature of the economy is changing. So would the appropriate response to that have been for the government in the 70s, when our productive capacity outstripped our demand for labor? Is that the point at which government should have stepped in as the employer of last resort to maintain low unemployment and keep employers competing with each other for labor?
Yes, we reacted the wrong way to what I think everyone concedes was an oil price shock. So we had oil prices quadrupled in 74. And so we decided to react by slowing down our economy, rather than let's try to become more oil efficient, which is what the Japanese did. And we did the same thing under President Carter the next time we had an oil price shock in 79. Again, let's slow down the economy. We brought in Volcker. We got 21% interest rates overnight and so on. And then the recession, and then we got Reagan busting labor unions as if they were the cause of high inflation, when it was very clear what it was. It was oil, and it was food prices, which tend to be related to oil, but there were special things going on at the same time with regard to food becoming globalized. So rather than attacking the problem directly, which is oil prices and food prices, and to some extent shelter prices, the component of home that is in the CPI, we decided to bust labor instead. That was the problem.
And we've been doing it ever since. We've been doing it for 32 years, basically, since the Reagan presidency, have we not?
We've tried race to the bottom dynamics, yes. Rather than, trying to create good jobs and so on, and building up our infrastructure, becoming more productive, better educated, and so on, what we've done is tried to hold wages constant, which we actually have absolutely done. Right. The average worker's real wage today is where it was, actually probably a little bit below now because of the recession, where it was in 1974. So this is unprecedented in American history, where you go through a couple of generations and more with absolutely no wage growth whatsoever. And that is because we want to be the low-cost producer around the world. We can't. There is no way we're going to be the low-cost producer around the world, no matter how much we attack labor and hold wages constant.
Right, because there's always going to be poorer, more desperate countries that are willing to bid against our labor.
That's right.
Which brings us back to mercantilist policies, but let's not go down that road. We just have 30 seconds. Your thoughts on austerity?
It's the worst possible response to our current predicament. You couldn't imagine a worse policy response to slowing down the economy even more. The government has become a jobs killer, not in the conservative sense of the term, by regulating private firms. No, by actually taking jobs out of the economy by laying off government workers.
Right. We've laid off 700,000 government workers in the last 4 years, and it looks like we're fixing to lay off another 600,000 or 700,000 with this sequestration. It's remarkable. Dr. L. Randall Wray, the professor of economics at the University of Missouri in Kansas City, and author of Modern Money Theory, blog neweconomicperspectives.org. Sir, thanks so much for being with us today.